I'm feeling a very strong pull to come back with my social media presence and influence to the core of what I got on here in the first place to talk about, which is relationships, particularly heterosexual relationships between men and women, but not exclusively. I think a lot of what I have to say applies to all human relationships, but particularly romantic relationships. And the reason I'm coming back to that today is that I have this increasing feeling that whilst we all know that you have to work hard on relationships of this nature shouldn't be hard work. And yeah, there's a personal element to that for me at the moment. And I think what I'd like people to recognize and perhaps look at what serves them best is a situation where the moments of joy and connection are just intermittently sprinkled between a general feeling of disquiet, discomfort, lack of joy, lack of beautiful moments, worry about the relationship, constant thoughts about how to improve it because we know that it can be better and it really isn't. And we keep coming back and trying new things, both individually and together. But what buoys us up through this whole process are these odd moments of connection and joy that remind us of what's possible in a relationship, but it's actually not the constant. And the relationship is becoming or is already hard work. And so there's a big difference between, willing to work hard on a relationship and it being hard work. And I think we've got to be able to be mindful, to step aside from it and recognize that difference and do something about that situation where the relationship is hard work, because there's got to be an underlying reason for that. And we've got to, at some point, address the possibility that this may not be the right relationship to be in. And that takes courage, because we get settled into the comfort of our lives and the comfort of those moments of joy that the relationship might bring us, and to step aside from that and to realize that actually the best way forward for both of you is very probably for the relationship to end rather than to keep plugging away. And I'm going to start talking a little bit more about that again. A lot of my early videos were about that, the stuff that I realized out of the fuck up that I made of my marriage and the work that I've done since to discover what works in a relationship. So let's talk about it. So I want to kick off the conversation with a fundamental point, and that is that love is not enough. We've been bombarded over decades with this idea that if you just love someone enough, that everything else will flow from there, that everything will be okay, that love will see you through. Love is all you need. Every romantic comedy ends when the mismatched couple discover that they're in love, and the implication is that that is what is needed to sustain a relationship into the future. And that is just a ridiculous myth. We all know this in our hearts. Love does not get you past compatibility and just basic life circumstances, past trauma, family, jobs, other commitments, how you want to live, what sort of actual logistical arrangements exist around your relationship, your sexual compatibility, your different libido. All of these factors need to be taken into account, and any one of them or combination of them can easily override the basic love that you feel for somebody, which, let's be honest, early on in a relationship, we often mistake for lust and attraction. And that when it comes down to it, even if we've got beyond that to realize that we genuinely love this person and we're working on how we love somebody in as much of an unconditional way as possible, we are still forced to confront circumstances that mean that that love may not sustain the relationship. And so, to go back to what I was talking about earlier, it is vital for your well-being, the well-being of the relationship, and the well-being of the person you're in relationship with ultimately, to properly evaluate whether the situationship that you've created serves you, whether it is what's right for you, whether it is worth the hard work. Because at some point, the hard work has to pay off. If the relationship is always hard work and saved only from complete devastation by the odd moment of joy and connection, then what the fuck are you doing in it? We have to confront that fact. If it's hard work and there's a payoff where it is no longer hard work, where you still have to work on the relationship, but you're playing against life from the same side of the net, rather than when it's hard work, where you feel like you're trying to drag somebody onto the same side of the net against, so that you can play against life together, rather than what feels like against each other, trying to create something that sort of works. If that future does not appear realistic, or has not appeared, and all that the relationship really is at its core is hard work, step aside. Give yourself the gift of freedom. Give your partner the gift of freedom. We have to know when to call it quits. Otherwise, we're just guaranteeing a life of misery for ourselves and, of course, for our partner. Hey, I know this is a downer, and I know it's going to make some of you feel grim, but the ultimate aim is your happiness, your freedom. And so, whilst we're starting on a bit of a bum note, I am going to start going back to how to make relationships work so that they aren't hard work anymore, how to get them operating in a way that serves and nourishes you. So please subscribe, please like, comment, let me know what you think, because I'm strongly back on this theme now, and I hope that we can help each other build better, sustaining, nourishing, beautiful, loving relationships.